Skip counting. This video is intended for students in grade 3 and 4 who have already been introduced to multiplication and skip counting before, and this is intended as a review. This is brought to you by the Teacher Tutor. We're going to be using a hundreds chart because skip counting using a hundreds chart will allow you to see some of the patterns that you may not see if the numbers are just written out. We're going to start with a pattern you already know. You already know how to count by twos. You know this in your sleep. You can probably even do it backwards. But do you know what the pattern looks like on a numbers chart or a hundreds chart? Here it is. So you might notice going across, it's white, orange, white, orange, white, orange. You might notice that all the numbers in a column are shaded in and there's no other pattern. You might notice that in this case, there's a 2 in the ones column all the way down. There's a 4 in the ones column. There's a 6 in the ones column, an 8 in this ones column, or a 0. You might even notice they're all even numbers, and you never noticed that before. Now let's look at the threes, starting at 0 and counting by threes. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. I started by coloring in the 3, but to get to the next number, I move on like a game board. For 1, 2, 3. So 6 would get colored in. 1, 2, 3. 9 would get colored in. And as I keep going, 1, 2, 3, the rest of it gets colored in. But this time it looks very different than the 2 times tables. Now I would ask you to pause the video and see, what do you notice? What do you notice and the pattern as it goes across? What about if you're going up and down vertically? Do you notice anything? Here's the pattern up until 30, and it may look familiar to you. 0, 3, 6, 9, 12. Does it remind you of the 3 times tables? It should, because the times tables are just adding by threes each time. 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. It can help you. What about counting by fours? How does this compare to the twos chart? You can stop the video and look. Do you notice any patterns here? Going across, going up and down? Are they only even numbers? Are they even and odd numbers? Let's look at the pattern written out. Do you notice anything else about counting by fours that would help you in the future? And here are the multiples of 5. And this is why you have found it easy all your life. Do you notice anything about the ones columns? Here are the multiples of 6. Does it remind you of 2 or of 4? And again, look at this pattern. Is there something about it that might be familiar or would help you in the future? Here are the 7s and the 7 pattern, the 8s. Now that's not quite following the 2s and 4s and 6s, or is it? Looking at the pattern and the pattern of the 9 times table. Now that you're familiar with the hundreds chart, these are called multiples. So when you write down all the numbers that you're counting by, it's a multiple of that number. Please watch the next video to help you make sense of it all. If you found this video helpful, please click like and subscribe.